What's going on, you all? Welcome back to the channel, Wealth Hacker Labs. And yes, this is another edition of a one take. This is all one take, no editing. Today, though, we got One Take Friday. And with today being Friday the 13th, I truly thought that we would have experienced more of this with the market. Coronavirus, everything that's been going on, this is just what I envisioned more of what the Friday 13th was going to be like. Gratefully, that was not the case. In fact, this is how we end up closing for the day. The Dow was actually up 1,985 points for a 9.36% gain. I seriously did not expect that at all. Did not expect that. It is awesome to see. Really thought that this would just been just another horrible week. And just looking at my Robinhood account, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but right here, oh, you can't see that. So I'm up. I started with 200,000. Right now, 192. I think we were down like to 186, 187. Still got over $157,000 in cash, but nonetheless, portfolio is holding good. So we're up about $3,600 today for a 1.9% gain in my overall portfolio. So there is all of that. And really just kind of want to talk about a few things and really just kind of put some things into perspective. But first thing I wanted to share with you is this tweet that I came across. I think this was yesterday. And don't know who this person is. Andrea Junker. It's an interesting name. But it highlights the top 8 largest Dow Jones drops in American history, and basically just saying that Trump was responsible for every single one of them. And just stuff like this drives me crazy. Not that I'm like a Trump supporter or anything. What drives me crazy is that we're just looking at the points here. You know, first one there on March the 9th, a 2,000 point drop, and then a 1,400 point drop. To have the points, I mean, we're also talking about the largest the Dow Jones has ever been. The Dow Jones closed at a high of 29,551. Prior to that, back in 2007, it was at 14,164. So for the Dow to drop 2,000 points when the Dow is 29,000 as opposed to 14,000, like, we're talking about two entirely different animals here. So I just wanted to share that because be careful what you read. Be careful what information that you are digesting and accepting as the gospel, because there is just a lot of bad information out there. But yeah, man, just wanted to just quickly highlight, just looking at that. I mean, that's pretty, right? That is pretty. Dow Jones up 9.36%. But the scary thing, and the reason why I've got the little thumbnail talking about the Dow being down 50%, is that I truly believe that this isn't the end. That, yeah, it's nice to see a 9% swing here, here today. But not to be a doomsday guy, pessimist, but I just do not expect this rally to continue. And in fact, I actually expect it to get worse. And what I wanted to bring up, so I've got two different, I wish this stupid ad would go away. Hello. Just put myself over that. There you go. So going back, just thinking about some of the past bear markets that we've had, because yesterday we actually did hit what we call the bear market. You know, we don't have the bulls. We're not charging forward. We're actually retracting. And I know many of you that are subscribers to the channel, many of you that have been investing, haven't really experienced that before. And I just kind of want to highlight a few different instances of where we had prior bear markets. And going back to we could talk about 2008. This is when the Dow Jones was down 33%. The S&P was down 37, 38%. But going back to 2000, 2001, 2002, so imagine having 3 consecutive down years in the market. Granted, as you can see, like, they weren't down 33% or down 10%, 20%, like we've seen this year. We were down modest 6%, 7%, and then again 16%. Well, just running some of those numbers, and let's see, this is the Dow. just looking at some of these numbers, if we were to experience something like this, back to back to back, and using the Dow, the 29,551 as its high, you could expect to be down roughly 17,000. The Dow Jones, seeing the Dow Jones drop 17,815 if you were to do those back-to-back-to-back drops. And to kind of put in perspective too, I'm going to pull up the S&P so you can see the returns there. And there they are. Boom, down 10, down 13, down 23. So what I actually did was I used the number from the S&P and applied that to the Dow just to kind of, I won't say paint a more dismal picture, but paint almost like a more, I think, a potentially realistic picture. And if, in case you're wondering, the S&P is, obviously the broader markets representing a true representation of the U.S. economy with the top 500 top 500 companies. But most people use the Dow as like the number. So anyway, just sometimes people wonder why that is, and it just kind of just it is what it is. But this is more of a broader indication of what the market is, but the Dow is the one that's referenced most. So just imagine, so we hit 21,000 yesterday, and I know I was talking to somebody at my son's baseball game yesterday, and he was asking me, where do you think that we're going? And just using the math, just using what we experienced back in 2008, and if you were to do a 38% drop on the market, like we experienced in 2008, that would put the Dow at 18,321. So I'm like, man, it's not unrealistic to think that we're going to get into the teens. And once again, going back to some of the numbers here, last time that we experienced if you hear any screaming in the background, those are my kids. So this is the joy, coronavirus, right? Kids are home trying to record stuff like this. But going back to 73, 74, we had a 17% drop in the market and then a 29% drop in the market. So imagine experiencing that, losing 17% and then losing 29%. Then the Dow would be at 17,414. So not too far off from, losing that 38%. Now that happened not all in 1 year, it happened 1 year and then a little bit more the next. But cumulative, it almost equates to the same point drop. It just took a little bit longer. So the bleeding was a little bit slower there. So that's just, just some of the things to keep in mind. But the reason why I've got the negative 50%. So if you actually look back at where the Dow was in 2007 and where it got to in 2009. So 2007, we were at 14,164. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video, March 6, 2009, the Dow was at 6,547, which was a 54% drop in about 17 months. So 54%. And just go ahead and do the calculation with you right here. But, if we were to take 29,515 times 0.54, 16,000 point drop. Subtract that from the Dow. Ooh, wow, did I do that right? I want to make sure that kind of scared me. So 29,551 and a 54% drop. So that's 16. Oh my goodness. So if you can imagine seeing the Dow drop to 14,000, that would be scary. That would be very scary. But once again, the fact that if it got to 14,000, we're where we erased all of our returns for the last 10, 11 years. Obviously that's depressing, but that's only if it were to stop right now, meaning that, okay, like we cash out, where the market ends, there is no more stock market, there is no more investing, we just go on with our merry way, as opposed to looking back to see where we have gone. It's all about the journey, right? We hit a high of 14,000, dropped down to 6,500. We got back to 14,000 pretty quick, all the way up to 29,000. Now we're hovering at 21. So if we got down to 14,000 and it was there for a few months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even a year, but then all of a sudden we started to recover, it would be a bad year if you cashed out. But once again, if you stayed invested, then that's really what it's all about. But really the whole point of me doing this video right here is I want you to know, and I want you to prepare that I do expect it to get worse. And do I have any numbers? Am I charting anything? I mean, this is purely a gut play, but hear me out. We've seen the NBA season suspended. We've seen March Madness canceled. Like, I can't even fathom that. Like, canceling March Madness. Like, that is one of the most, that'd be canceling the Super Bowl. I mean, it's probably the second most watched sporting event in the US. Like, it's just crazy for that to happen. Postponing Major League Baseball. I mean, just schools being shut down, colleges being shut down. We haven't even seen how this is going to impact the economy. And it's just the beginning. I hope that all these drastic measures that they are doing contains the coronavirus. And I hope that it doesn't continue to spread. I just linked the last article I read about the NBA that they're going to reevaluate in 30 days. So what happens in 30 days when, or if there are more cases and it hasn't slowed down? So what do they do then? Let's just say that play this out and they suspend it even longer. So now we have that much more. And I'm just talking about sports. I'm not even talking about everything else. I've talked to other people that with consulting, and many consultants like working for these Fortune 500 companies. I mean, their life is on the road. Those face-to-face meetings, shaking hands, pressing the flesh, and just getting out there and doing their work. And granted, yes, there's technology that allows to do this over Skype, Zoom, all that good stuff. But nonetheless, like, much of their business is traveling, and when you're not able to do that, like, how does that impact those companies, those corporations? Just talking to a good buddy of mine that is in the music industry, and he was talking with a guy who does T-shirts for concerts or for bands, and he had like 4 major tours that he was getting ready, sign the deal on, and they all canceled. And like, that was like his year. Like, that was a year's worth of revenue gone in one phone call. And these are the types of things that we just haven't really seen play out yet. So that's why I just truly feel that that you're going to see it get worse before it gets better. Now, I hope that I'm wrong. I mean, I want to be wrong. Trust me, I want to be wrong. So anyway, that's just my prediction. What's the plan? I didn't get in today in the market. I do want to start shifting some money in. I mean, seeing all these different stocks. One of the notifications I got on Robinhood that I kept getting over and over again was, such and such, Facebook hits 52-week low. Ford hits 52-week low. Verizon hits 52-week low. Like, every single stock that I'm either in or that I was watching hit a 52-week low. Like, that was just kind of like the theme going on. And like I said, I feel like that's going to continue. But for those that are in, for those that want to take advantage, like, I know for me, like, this is the buying opportunity that I've been waiting on. Like, this is the buying opportunity that I thought was going to be there 5 years ago, and the market just kept going boom, boom, boom. And so yeah, I've been chomping at the bit, waiting for this. I've got plenty of cash on hand, and I'm going to enjoy it and see some nice gains over the next 5-10 years. Can't wait. Obviously, I've got to start making some buys, and I'm not gonna be able to time the bottom. No one is. I don't care who you are, what you say. You're not gonna be able to time it. But if I can get in, within 20 to 30% of the bottom, I'm doing pretty good. And if you are following the same strategy, you'll be doing pretty good yourself. All right, y'all, just want to share some numbers with you just to kind of give you some perspective. Don't panic, don't freak out. This is a 2008 was a once in a lifetime buying opportunity for many. And fast forward 11, 12 years, we've got another once in a lifetime buying opportunity. Don't let fear prevent you from getting in. If you need to go out and buy toilet paper, go do that. But don't let fear not allow you to invest, and especially right now, because this is a great time. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this One Take Friday. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Take care. Peace.